Number 5. The Ultimate Warrior. After the controversy that caused the departure of the Ultimate Warrior from the WWE in 1992, fans wouldn't see the muscle-bound wild man for another 4 years when he eventually ventured back to the WWE in 1996. However, many backstage thought that this was a bad move by Vince McMahon to bring back Warrior, including Jim Ross speaking up against the decision. It didn't take long for them to be proven right. Warrior infamously squashed Triple H at WrestleMania 12, but by the summer his relationship with the company had soured. Throughout the month of July, the Ultimate Warrior had been scheduled to appear at multiple WWE house shows, however he no-showed all of them. When Vince confronted him about this, Warrior would go on to say he was grieving over the loss of his father, but Vince quickly sensed something was up, as Warrior hadn't seen or spoke to his dad in over 10 years. Soon after, Warrior would also complain about merchandise disagreements with the company. Eventually, Vince would replace Warrior on the house shows with Psycho Sid, and that would be the last anyone saw of the Ultimate Warrior in the WWE until 2014, when he finally returned shortly before his death. Number 4. Stone Cold Steve Austin. One of the most famous walkouts in wrestling history involved the industry's biggest star at the time in Stone Cold Steve Austin. After being booked against Scott Hall for WrestleMania 18, and The Rock facing Hulk Hogan in the main event, Austin's frustrations with creative would continue to grow, as his character was left aimless for months following. However, the straw that broke the camel's back came when Austin was told he would be putting Brock Lesnar over in a King of the Ring qualifying match on free TV during an episode of Monday Night Raw. Obviously, this would be a huge money match that would draw attention even when Lesnar was younger. Austin was furious that the company would carelessly give this match away for free, and so he decided to no-show and walk out of WWE. Lesnar would go on to eventually win the tournament. However, Vince McMahon and the company branded Austin as taking his ball and going home. This was a huge shock to wrestlers and fans, as Austin was one of the company's megastars. Many thought that this would be the last they saw of the Texas Rattlesnake, but thankfully Austin, Jim Ross and Vince McMahon managed to iron things out and have him return in early 2003. Number 3. Chris Benoit. On the build-up to Vengeance 2007, the unimaginable happened. Chris Benoit had missed a few house shows on the build-up to the event, but told the company it was due to his wife and son being sick. When the pay-per-view rolled around, Benoit was scheduled to face CM Punk in the finals of the ECW World Title Tournament, but he no-showed once again, leaving John Morrison to fill the gap. Soon after, the wrestling world would be shook, as Benoit and his family were found dead at their home. It was later revealed that Benoit had committed a double murder-suicide on himself and his family, in what is perhaps the most shocking story in all of wrestling history. The real reason Benoit originally no-showed the events were due to his mental state being severely damaged, leading to these series of events. When Benoit's brain was later scanned, it was found he had the brain equivalent to a 90-year-old Alzheimer's patient due to the amount of headshots he had taken during his career. Number 2. Sabu. During 1995, Paul Heyman was pissed at Sabu that he chose to prioritise some Japan bookings over a pre-agreed ECW event. Sabu was scheduled to be a key part in the story in the evening's main event triple threat match, and when Heyman found out Sabu wasn't going to show, he let it all out in front of the live crowd, making Sabu's decision public to the ECW audience before the main event began. Heyman would be enraged and go on to fire Sabu from the promotion while blasting him on the mic in the middle of the ring. This wasn't the end though, as Sabu would go on to return later that year, but at this point Heyman saw the business side of things, as Sabu had not only had star power within ECW, but had also featured on WCW TV as well. Heyman would resign Sabu, but you can be sure he hasn't forgot. Number 1. Kevin Nash. When WCW Starrcade 1997 rolled around, Kevin Nash was scheduled to face off against the Giant in one of the night's main attractions. Bischoff has later gone on to clear up the confusion of this no-show, but what originally happened stemmed from when Nash called Bischoff ahead of time to say he wouldn't be showing up to the pay-per-view due to heart attack concerns with his health at the time. Bischoff agreed to this, but failed to clue in the fans that Nash wouldn't be there. Scott Hall was instead slotted in to face the Giant, which left the audience confused as to why one of the night's main matches wasn't going ahead as planned. Furthermore, Bischoff would explain, saying that Nash probably didn't want to leave his house so close to Christmas, which didn't help matters in the slightest, giving fans a negative perception of Nash. It's cool to hear that the company were concerned about Nash's health, but it would have been good of them to inform the fans at home and in the arena ahead of time, instead of leaving them in the dark on what they had originally paid to see. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more wrestling content.